Hi, Morally Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain a Japanese film called Kaiji, the Ultimate Gambler. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with Kaiji, a young man who works a day job to pay the bills and plays the lottery hoping to be rich. But one day his routine will change when a mysterious woman approaches him and shows him a contract he had signed 2 years ago. That contract presents him as a guarantor to his friend's loan. Since his friend has disappeared, the guarantor, Kaiji, has to pay 2 million yen. Kaiji claims he can't pay that much money, but the woman has a solution for him. There is a ship sailing tonight, a ship where some form of gambling will take place. The ship's name is Espoir, which means hope in French language. If Kaiji is lucky, he can repay his debt in one night, and he can also change his life entirely. The woman, Indu, calls him useless and a loser. She says that he has a chance to do something that would elevate his life. Kaiji is convinced, and he boards the ship Espoir. He finds more people like himself in it. He speaks to himself and comments that they look like losers. Tonigawa, the gambling cruise host, steps on the podium and says that every person has to buy 3 stars to be able to participate in the event. Each star costs 1 million, but the gamblers have no money. So the host will offer them a loan to buy the stars, but that loan's payoff will get a 1% interest each minute. The gamblers think that's crazy, but they stay on board when Tonigawa says that the winner will have all his debts erased. Plus, the hosts will buy his stars back for 1 million each. The host tells them that they are the garbage of society and they have run out of other choices. Tonigawa then explains the first game. It will be rock, scissors, paper, but it will be played with cards. The players are dealt 12 cards and they have to use them all up, playing 1 versus 1 with each other. To win, one must have at least 3 stars remaining on their chest. They have 30 minutes to complete the game. Kaiji observes the scene. Players who lose all of their stars are taken through a door, and winners are taken through another door. A guy, Funai, approaches Kaiji and tells him that losers are transferred to another ship and treated as slaves. He says that he's been looking for the right partner. He suggests they can both win if they use up all of their cards in an order that manipulates the result to always be a draw. That way, they can both keep their 3 stars on their chests and win. They carry on with their plan until Funai decides to cheat Kaiji and take one of his stars. Funai lies again and uses misdirection and sleight of hand to steal 1 more star out of Kaiji's chest. Kaiji punches Funai and exposes him to everyone, but now a larger fight breaks and nobody trusts nobody. In the meantime, a security guard brings an old man in the main event and throws him on the floor. That man tried to flash his cards in the toilet, something that goes against the rules. Since trust in fair game is lost, Funai suggests they reshuffle their cards and deal back to each player the corresponding number of cards they currently have. Kaiji knows that Funai will cheat again, and he figures out a way to trick Funai and also help the old man, who he refers to as Mr. After some nitty-gritty trickery, Kaiji manages to get back his 2 stars from Funai and also gets 1 star for Mr. Funai is disqualified and taken away, and Kaiji with Mr. now have 3 stars each. They use up all their cards and are very glad about it, but Mr. has forgotten 1 more card in his pocket. Unfortunately, the time is up. The guards are about to take Mr., but Kaiji won't let him go alone. He tells them they share that card, and the guards take Kaiji as well. They plant a chip in each slave's shoulder, and they mark them with a sacred symbol of an organization, including a bank department. A whole disgusting world of slavery exists deep underground, where Kaiji, Mr., and the rest of the loser gamblers are used as workers under strict supervision. They follow a strict routine, and this world has its own rules. The workers are paid in perikas, which is the underground's fiat currency, One parica is worth 1/10 of the yen. Despite that, they are paid little paricas because a part of their wage is held to pay back their debt. The workers have a monthly treat of beer and food, which of course they have to buy to enjoy. Kaiji doesn't want to spend any hard-earned money, but he's eventually convinced to relax and enjoy himself, something that he'll have to regret the next morning. An accident happens, and lots of workers are transferred to the doctor's facility. The doctor doesn't really take care of them because they need parica money to even buy medicine. Kaiji is fed up. He meets a guy from his team, Sahara, who will be sent to the Brave Men's Road. They send workers there when they aren't useful anymore. From there, workers end up dead or free. Since Kaiji can't tolerate this kind of life anymore, he volunteers to go along with Sahara to the Brave Men's Road. Kaiji, Sahara, Mr., and 5 more workers are led to the terrace of a high skyscraper. Speakers announce that they consist the main event at the Starside party. Tonegawa appears and hands the workers some checks. To be able to cash their checks, they have to go to the Starside Hotel. To achieve that, they have to cross 2 mechanical bridges. Those bridges are so thin that their feet size can barely fit on their surfaces. To make things more interesting, those bridges are electrified. The workers can't touch their hands on them or they will get grilled. The customers wouldn't just want to see the players crawl to the other side. Yes, there is a bunch of ultra-rich people who are watching the poor workers through cameras. It's just a show for them. The woman who got Kaiji involved into this is also watching the show. She is serving drinks to the guests because she probably got demoted due to Tonegawa. It seems like she cares for Kaiji, or at least feels bad he got into this trouble because of her. The players hype each other up and start their attempt. They all get on the bridges and make some steps. Unfortunately for them, it starts raining and fear starts creeping in. They are scared to death, literally. One by one, they start falling. The rich viewers are enjoying the show and actually laugh while the players cry and fall to their deaths. In the end, only Kaiji, Mr., and Sahara are left. Mr. realizes that he can't make it across and gives his check to Kaiji. He begs Kaiji to give some of the money to his daughter. Kaiji takes the check and gets distracted for a moment. When he turns his head back, Mr. has silently fallen into his death. Kaiji and Sahara make it over and land on the terrace of the Starside Hotel. Sahara grabs the door and pulls it open. A sudden burst of air pressure explodes him to the edge of the building, and he falls. Kaiji is the only one remaining and makes it through the door. Tonegawa, Indu, and their bodyguards give him an applause, but everyone stands still when the big boss of the organization, the chairman, walks in. The chairman congratulates Tonegawa for the excellent show and Kaiji for being the first slave to make it out alive and earn his freedom. Kaiji demands his check to be redeemed, but Tonegawa says they will only pay him 700,000 yen, because the rest of the money will be held to pay off his debt. Kaiji lets them have it and accuses them because of the way they play with people. The chairman actually likes his arguments and invites him to play a game of cards to be able to multiply his money. Each player is dealt 5 cards. One deck has 4 citizen cards and a king card, and the other deck has 4 citizen cards and 1 slave card. They will play 3 rounds. Citizen against citizen is a draw. Citizens beat the slave card. The king card beats the citizen cards, but the slave card beats the king, because the slave has nothing to lose. Kaiji picks the deck with the slave card. It will be more challenging to win, but if he does, they will pay him on a ratio of 10-1 on his bet. Kaiji loses 1 round and he loses all the money he bet. The boss is annoyed because that game was not interesting. He loans 390,000 yen to Kaiji by force. He decides Kaiji's collateral to be 130 years of underground labor. They play 1 more round, and Kaiji loses again. The guards take Kaiji, and he tortures himself thinking about how Tonegawa beat him. Then he remembers that any move the slaves do is monitored 24/7 by the chip that's planted into the slave's arm. He figures out that Tonegawa was looking at his watch while he was playing with Kaiji. Since Indu has a rivalry with Tonegawa, he asks her for a loan to be able to play the last round against Tonegawa. Indu loans him 50 million yen, and Kaiji challenges Tonegawa again. The chairman finds that to be an interesting turn of events because now Kaiji is also betting Indu's future. He allows the game to take place. Kaiji claims he has to act like a crazy man to be able to beat the devil. He smashes his head against a mirror and blood runs out of his forehead. He does that for two reasons. First, now Tonegawa can't use his monitor watch to observe Kaiji's movements. The chip has been messed up. Second, Kaiji uses the blood to mark 2 cards, a trick that he will use later on to trick Tonegawa. The game starts indeed, and they pull their 3 first cards. All of them result in a draw, but now it's time for the win. Kaiji uses a blood-stained card. Tonegawa observes the blood on the card and replays Kaiji's movements in his head. He is convinced that Kaiji performed sleight of hand to trick him. Tonegawa draws his card in confidence, but he loses. Kaiji has tricked Tonegawa into thinking that he performed sleight of hand when he actually didn't. Tonegawa is sent underground to be used as a labor slave, and Kaiji is paid 500 million yen because the slaves deck pays on a 10-to-1 ratio. Kaiji is now free, and he's enjoying a beer with Indu. She slips something into his beer and Kaiji falls asleep. When he wakes up, Indu has left with most of his money, but she has left a letter in his pocket. Kaiji reads Indu's letter, and it explains that she took his money because he owed her interest on the 50 million loan she gave him to play that last round against Tonegawa. The film ends with Kaiji delivering a letter to Mr.'s daughter. He has included some money for her, and her father's check intact. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel grow. Thank you for watching.